jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Oh, hell yeah. What's going on, everybody? So, if you know me and you've watched the channel for a little while, you know I am no fan of a Slant 6 or a 4-cylinder or any 6-cylinder period or 10-cylinder. To me, they all sound like ass. I'm all about American Thunder V8. If you don't sound like a V8, it's garbage. Don't want it. Don't care. But I don't know, these little A bodies here with the Slant 6s, because there's a whole bunch of them in that yard I pulled out. There's a little duster, and after dragging this car home and putting tires on it, I'm kind of curious if this turd bucket will run, because everybody says Slant 6s are bulletproof. You can't kill a Slant 6. It'll run for no matter what. Okay, let's try that. This old girl here has been off the road. Well, you know what? Maybe there's a license plate on it. Let me check. I do not know. There is not. Okay. Well, the yard that this car was in has been closed since 1994. It's 2021 now. So that's a lot. And it's probably been in that yard before 94. I'm thinking this engine will not run. My reasoning is there's no spark plugs in it. There hasn't been any spark plugs in it for what looks like a long time. By grabbing the fan though, there is some hope, because the crankshaft does rotate, so it's not seized. The carburetor, however, is completely locked up. There's probably so much dirt in it. I have no idea if the electrical in this thing works or anything. Don't know anything about this car. Hold on. Of course, turn the camera on, a jet flies over. There won't be a jet flying for 2 weeks. Turn the camera on, there it goes. Anyways, I guess first thing first, I'll get a battery in this thing. Of course, I have no idea if the electrical even works in this thing, or if these battery cables are any good. I mean, look at this. Seriously doubt these cables are any good. But you never know. First thing first, let's just throw a battery in it, see what happens. All right, got a battery in it. And I was just thinking, well, you know what? Before I even spin this thing over, since there's no plugs in it, let's just spray some, what is this, PB Blaster? I don't have any WD-40 or anything, so let's just, this will work. It's lube. And plus, I really don't care about this engine too much, so, and this is good lube, it'll work. So we'll go ahead and spray some of this down each spark plug hole. I guess you don't need to watch me do every hole. So I'll get this thing all lubed up in the cylinders, because if it does rotate, we don't want the spark plugs to be, or we don't want the piston rings completely dry. It will scar the cylinders. So, all right, let me get one more. And then it's screwdriver time. Ah, get in there, you little. All right, I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna go get a screwdriver, see if this thing will turn over. All right, got the cylinders all hosed down. Just stick a screwdriver to it, see what it does. I seriously doubt this is gonna do anything, but well. Oh! It spins. It is not locked up. Well, I knew it wasn't locked up, but I didn't know if maybe there was something mechanically wrong with it, or would it just rotate a little this way, a little that way, but no. It spins over. And we just sprayed the inner fender with that PB Blaster I sprayed on the cylinders. So, I guess the next thing to do is, you know, just thinking that it might run, I was like, well, it's only like 15 bucks. I'll buy some spark plugs. So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these spark plugs in there. And then what I also bought, just for shits and giggles, because if it did fire up and run, seafoam. So spark plug it, and if we get some kind of ignition to where it will run, then I'll seafoam it. But if this thing does fire over, I've got a radiator that I grabbed out of one of the cars in the junkyard. So if this thing does kick over, I'm gonna put the radiator in it. I might even put water in it. All right, I'm kind of curious now. It's time to put plugs in it. Well, one thing I just realized, putting these spark plugs in, I have no idea what the firing order of a Slant 6 is. Nor do I really care. But in order to fire this thing up, I'm gonna have to figure it out. So I'm gonna have to Google that, see what the firing order of this thing is, because all the plug wires are off of it. And at least if the plug wires were on it, I could kind of go off something, but it's a weird looking distributor cap. It's only got 6 wires on it. Well, let me finish bolting these things in, and then I gotta look up the firing order of a Slant 6. Alright, plugs are in, and I guess if we're gonna be spinning this thing over a bunch, might as well see if it's got any oil in it. I haven't checked this yet. Huh. It's full. At least at least the oil pan's good. It's got no leaks in it. I'll get in there. I could tell when I pulled the fill cap on the valve cover that they were probably not a very big fan of changing the oil though, because it looks pretty caked in there. Alright, we know it's got oil. Plugs are in it. Might as well stick a screwdriver back to it, bump the starter, and see if it's even got compression. Maybe that's why the plugs were out of it. Maybe they're trying to figure out why it wouldn't run. So let's see if it's even got compression on this thing. Well, it's got compression. Or you know, as much as a Slant 6 would anyway. Look at this carburetor. I wonder if you can even get this carburetor to move. You know this thing isn't gonna function. No, it's not gonna function. No way in hell this thing's gonna work. Ah, that carburetor's stuck. If I can get this carburetor to free up, I can at least trickle some gas in it and hold the RPM up a little bit. Oh man, that the choke is even seized. But at least it's not seized shut. We'll just spray some of this in there. It's good for the piston rings anyway. The valves, everything. Oh, holy cow, it's stiff. It's starting to move though. We got to move like a quarter of a turn. Look at this. It freed up. The stupid little things that make you laugh. All right, carburetor's freed up. We've got an engine that spins. The engine's got compression. I guess I just need to figure out the firing order. All right, I cheated. I didn't even bother looking up the firing order because the wires are so hard and kind of formed. I could tell where they used to go. So I'm 100% sure I got that right. So we got the plug wires on. I have a jumper wire run to the ballast resistor. The coil is hot because I checked it. Nothing left to do. Let's just kick it over and see what happens. Spray a little go-go juice in there. Come on, Slant 6, prove me wrong. You are still a turd bucket in my eyes. I'm right. I knew the thing wouldn't fire up. I guess I should give it a shot though and figure out why it doesn't fire up. All right. Well, we got power at the coil, so I know it's getting power there. Maybe the ignition box is bad. I have no idea if the ignition box in these is the same as a, well, a real engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab another ignition box and swap it on there and just see what happens. Alrighty guys, I've swapped out the ignition box. This thing here is maybe junk, I don't know. I think Slant 6 and V8 ignition box is the same because I think all it does is see a pulse. So if this thing is junk, we got one on it. Or that one might have been good and I just now ruined it. Either way, we got a new one on it. Let's see, we got power at the coil. We have compression in the cylinders as much as this Slant 6 had anyway. Or hell, I don't know, what are they, like 6.5 to 1 compression? Pitiful. Alright, so we got it jumped, we got power at the coil, we got another ignition box on it. I know the balance resistor is good because it has power at the coil. I guess the last thing to do is for me to prove I'm right, Slant 6s are garbage, and I win. Alright, well, let's go ahead and set this up right here. Look out, Sam. Go ahead and give her some juice. I don't know why, I'm probably just wasting it. Yeah, let's give it a little more. Enough so if it did fire, it backfires in my face. Alright. See what you got, Slant 6. I am secretly rooting for it, because it would be kind of neat if this old piece of junk actually fired up. Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! Slant 6 1, Chris 0. You suck. It is kind of cool that it runs, but I just do not like Slant 6s, and I was hoping this thing wouldn't run. Alright. Okay, maybe I'm gaining a slight, microscopic bit of respect for the Slant 6 now. Slight. I'm actually kind of wanting to put a radiator in it now and see if this thing actually drives. You know what? Let's do it. Well, it's not going to be a driver. The carburetor needs to be rebuilt and probably a few other things for it can be a driver, but it is kind of neat. I mean, if I hit the fuel pump, it just completely floods the engine out. So yeah, it can't be a driver without rebuilding the carburetor and a few other little things. But I will give this Slant 6 some credit. It's been sitting all this time and kicked right over. Actually, yeah, fire it up right now. The only way it'll stay running is if I hit the electric fuel pump on the battery, but it instantly just floods the carburetor out, just completely pouring gas down the carburetor. So that's why I have to like moderate it, but I'll give you a little bit of love, little Slant 6. It's okay. You're a weak ass engine, but you're reliable. And I still don't want one. Actually, I might take one. Maybe. I don't know. I have to think about it. But I take back some of the bad things I said about Slant 6. They're not total garbage. They're just slow, reliable tractor engines. And if that's all you really want, boom, there you go, Slant 6. Other than that, I still hate Slant 6s. See ya. Or just be a man and V8 swap it.